Hello. Welcome to another episode of Operation Evil. Did you like that?
I did.
My name's
This
Nayoka.
This is why I like for you to always do the introduction. She just says, do you want to do the introduction? I'm like, no, I like it when you do it.
And then you get a song.
Yeah.
Or whatever I feel like doing at the moment. This week's different because if you are part of our Patreon, you will know that I did the bonus episode.
And she did a fantastic job.
Thanks. I appreciate it. If you want to hear it, support the show. We'd love to have your support and your love. And in return, you'll get stuff.
It's called www.patreonnyokastories.com. No, it's not.
But you can find us. You can find it.
It's on our Facebook page.
It's on our show notes. It's on all of the things. Just look for it. Or you can ask us if you need to reach out. But anyway, yeah. So I think
it was a really good story.
Thanks. And if you guys are interested in the story and, want to check it out, it was called The Twilight Killers. And yeah, it was that kind of Twilight, like Bella and Edward Twilight. But you got to be part of our little community to know why it's called that. Yeah. But Rachel's telling the story this week. So what you got?
All right. So past listeners, probably, if you remember, I don't know if I mentioned, but like the show I Survived.
Love, I Survived.
Yes. Our first episode that we did was, remember Holly?
Yes.
She was featured. We talked about Holly. So this episode has Holly and this woman that we're going to be talking about today. Her name's Linda LeBrane. They were in the same episode of I Survived together, so you should definitely check that out.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which you will put in the show notes what episode and season, or...
Yes, remind me to do that.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Make a note of that. We'll do that.
I'm writing right now.
Because there's so many episodes. We want to make it easy for you to watch.
And like if you have that those apps on like a smart TV, there's one of I think it's Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi.
Or Pluto. One of those two. I think they have the
one
I
of the
Survived.
3 ones.
Yeah, they have the episodes on there.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, check it out.
I will.
So Linda, she's from Washington State. And every year she would have a little getaway. For 10 days, she would drive to her family cabin in Idaho. So she's got 7 kids.
Wow.
So no wonder she needs a getaway.
I don't know how she found time to get away for 10 days.
I know. She said that one of the things I listened to, she made a little joke and she said, when you're able to just get away, and she goes by herself.
Nuh-uh.
She's like, when you come back, you like your family a little bit more.
Wow.
So Linda, she was also a violinist. And since she was a kid, she would write poetry. But since this incident that we're going to be talking about, she developed PTSD, of course.
Aww.
And so the writing poetry helps her with that. So she was driving through Idaho from Washington to like I said, a family cabin that was located in Utah. And so this is kind of like in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
She's just driving, has the windows down. It's like in June. So imagine it's around 2:30 a.m. Probably like a cool night. She's singing and just having a good time when all of a sudden she sees lights behind her in this car. She said, for some reason, she says in the I Survived episode, she says, I just kind of knew they were going to mess with me. And she could see that it was like younger people, like younger than her.
Oh.
And she said that, they drove up. She would speed up, they'd speed up. She'd slow down, they'd slow down. She just wanted to get away from them. And she could see, like, trucks in the distance. And she was like, I just want to make it to where there's other people. She was forced off the road. They had like these clubs or huge branches or something. They had rolled their window down, got alongside her car, and started beating her car with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so just they had turned their car perpendicular to her car and kind of, like I said, they forced her off the road. She is like trying to roll up all the windows, make sure that the doors are locked, and she forgets to roll up the passenger side window. And before as soon as she realizes the who she referred to as the ringleader comes around the side of the car, kind of like leans over her and has a knife to her throat and is basically like, bitch, give me your money. So there's another guy. I'm going to tell you what. So she has names for each person. One person she calls Greasy Man. She said he just looked really dirty. Like his hair smelled, if somebody's got dirty hair and it's oily. And his brother, the brother's name was Kenneth. She called him Fat Boy. And then there was a person, their last name was Sanchez. She calls him Little Boy. And then she said that there was this girl that was just really beautiful. Just a really pretty girl. And she was the ringleader. Like I said, she was the one that took charge.
She was?
Yeah. And she was a petite girl, like a small girl. And like, there's a witness like later on that's like, what is that cute little girl doing with these people?
Yeah.
She just looked out of place with them, I guess was their point. So yeah, I think it's Gracie Man gets into the driver's side and he starts driving her car while one of the other guys stays in their car and is following them. And they drive her to this secluded area. And while she's in the car, the person, I think it was Sanchez, was sitting behind her and slashes her throat.
Oh my God.
She's like repeatedly stabbed and like cussed at. I don't know how long this journey was, but they eventually got to a beet farm. And altogether, she was stabbed like 23 times. Yeah. She said that, they got to the beet farm, they got her out of the car, and she's like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. And the woman is like calling her a bitch again and almost being like antagonizing, like talking to her like, yeah, beg for your life, bitch. Like,
wow.
Just being really nasty. And they got $40 from her. They took her credit cards. And she said that she felt like a pounding on her back. And what it was they were repeatedly stabbing her again.
Oh my God.
Yes. So she's on the ground and she's like, I'm just going to play dead. They leave. They come back.
They come back?
They come back because they decided to, I guess they were going to try to destroy the evidence. They burn her car. And the car was like a Honda, like a small square box shaped kind of car.
Yeah.
Looked like from the pictures. Not a huge car. But yeah, they burned the car and stabbed her or slashed her shoulder, one of the two. Because the one guy says to her, oh, you think you're tough, bitch? And continuously. So she says she's laying there and her legs are like under the car. And she's like, I'm going to burn to death. Like, what do I do? So she's able to roll out. She rolls herself. She was like, all I could think of is like what they teach you in school. Stop, drop, and roll.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So she rolls out and she gets not too far away from the car, but I guess far enough away. And she just kind of accepts that she's going to die.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. She feels like this, like the white light. She feels this peace and everything. And then she hears voices again. And she's like, oh my God, they're coming back. Nope. It was two teenage boys who had come home from from another friend's house or something. They had saw the fire from a distance and called the fire department and stuff. And being curious, they wanted to see the fire, so they came closer and they found her.
Oh my God.
She said that they picked her up. One got her by the arms, one got her by the legs, and they pulled her away further from the car. The car exploded.
Oh my God.
Just sounded like the nick of time. we're going to insert a clip where there's not too much information that I could find on the rescuers, but here is one of those guys speaking, and this is like years later. I think it's like 15 years later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Linda believes strongly in guardian angels. That night, they came in the form of 2 teenagers who saw the car on fire from a distance.
I still can feel, when I was talking to her, I put my hand on her back and on her head, and I can still feel it on my hands. Sometimes when I touch, mud or anything of that sort, I still kind of get that same feeling.
Wow. I don't mean to just jump in, but that's amazing that these teenage kids
Yeah, isn't that something?
stopped to help this woman.
The timing.
It was right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. I wanted to ask you, when did this happen?
Oh, it was 2000. I think I said June, but it was in the year 2000.
Yeah, you did say June, and it was like late at night, early morning.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you caught that. So I also wanted to add, too, that I kind of forgot, was that they took her wedding ring.
They took her wedding ring.
Yes, and she went to, like, the first time they stabbed her, she, like, went to grab the knife. And they cut her, which she said is the hand she plays violin with, but they cut to the bone. They said that one of her fingers was almost cut off.
No.
Yes. Yeah, she said that was the worst thing, was them taking her ring. And I don't know that she ever got it back. I couldn't find information on that either.
So they did all of this for $40, some credit cards, and a ring.
And also a big thing that I left out too, she said that they had to have been on drugs. She said they were like wild animals. They were just so like hyped up, like just
savage.
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect word. Perfect. And the man, and let me add this too, the man that was driving their car, so when he finally meets up with them at the beat field, he gets out of his car and he's like, we're going to kill her now. And he has a baseball bat. So he actually hits her in the head with a bat. So not only does she have stabbing wounds, I think she had like a collapsed lung, but she also had a fractured skull as well.
The only thing that's keeping me together right now is the fact that I know this came from I Survived.
Yeah, and she's alive.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
it's a miracle.
The thing is, too, like, she even had enough strength to see if the keys were in the car. But that was, like, she heard them coming back. So, I mean, like, you're laying there, like, I'm sure she couldn't breathe. And with all, bleeding so much, and she thought to check for the keys. She was like, I was thinking maybe I can drive myself out of there and get saved. Yeah, she's one tough lady. She just wanted to go and have a nice vacation.
What a fighter.
Yeah. So, yeah, 22, I said 23, so it was 22 stab wounds, a cut throat, punctured lungs, so both lungs punctured, and the fractured skull. I know, I just can't.
If you guys could see my face right now, I'm like...
I know, it's bad. So, and what's worse is it took about 2 years for them to track down the people who did it.
What? 2 years?
2 years. And there's more to this story.
You would think they wouldn't even catch them after 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. I'm sorry. I'm just like, what is happening? All right.
So, like I said, I believe that Sanchez, which is the one that she referred to as little boy, I believe he was the one that drove the car. So when they finally find them, and they get sentenced, I'm gonna kind of jump ahead and jump back and forth in this, but when they sentence him, he got the most time. He got life without parole.
Why did he get the most time?
I think because he hit her with the bat. I think. But I thought that was very odd, too, because the two brothers, Fat Boy and Gracie Man,
yeah,
they didn't get as much time. Like, he got the most.
Maybe they did a plea bargain or something.
Maybe. So, yeah, he got charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, conspiracy to commit first-degree kidnapping, aggravated battery. Well, in 1992, he had served 3 to 6 years for attempted murder. He served from August 92 until July of 95. He was released on parole and then returned to jail or prison in 1996 for parole violation. He completed that sentence and was released in 1998. So from the years of 92 to 98, he was in and out of jail. He gets out in 98 and then in 2000 tries to kill a woman. His name was Jeremy Flores Sanchez. And he's still in prison. So, like I said, it took him about two years to try to solve this case. And it was all kind of just, one of the guys' girlfriend, she was watching, they did an America's Most Wanted episode on it.
Ooh.
And she saw it. And I think it was in Carolina. She called and said, hey, I think that's my boyfriend. And of course, like Linda, you know, when she gave her report and everything, or when they talked to her, the police department or whatever, she gave like sketches, the drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
But things were just kind of like trickery.
Yeah.
And you'll see what I mean soon. So in the fall of 2015, a judge ruled that John David Werdeman, which he was Fat Boy, that he be released and given a new trial. Wait, let me back that up. I jumped ahead.
Backed up.
We're gonna have to cut that part out.
Okay.
I missed where they were sentenced around. Where the hell did I write the sentence?
Did you already put it up there?
That was for Jeremy.
I'd like to know what that girl got sentenced.
Oh yeah, you'll be hearing.
I'll sing you a song in the meantime while she finds her nose.
I don't know what I did with it.
I don't know.
Alright, so we'll just kind of start. Okay, I'll just start here. Okay. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. So, John David Werdeman, which was
Fat Boy.
Fat Boy, yes. No, wait, he wasn't Fat Boy. He was Greasy Man.
Greasy Man.
Crazy Man! I can't keep track of this.
There's a lot of people.
Alright, so one of the accused, John Werdeman, also known as Greasy Man, he was found guilty and he was sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 55 years. And that ruling was overturned based on inadequate defense at his trial. And so he was released in 2015.
I'm sure he's back in already.
Well, yeah. They're saying that there was misidentification with him and with one other person. So
like it wasn't them that did it?
yeah.
Okay.
Greasy Man was found guilty and sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 55 years. And a judge overturned that sentence because it was found that there was inadequate defense at his trial. There was talks of like misidentification and some not so liable, like instead of doing like a, you know how most time you hear like a in-person lineup?
Yeah.
This was like a video lineup.
Oh.
So he gets out in 2015. And then in 2017, he leads police on a high-speed chase. And he's going anywhere from 55 to 100 miles an hour, and had thrown a firearm from the vehicle. So, you know, he was still on parole, so he violated his parole. And, you know, they let Linda know, like, that he was getting out, and someone interviewed her, and she said, quote, "It makes me feel like the criminals have all the rights and the victims have no rights and advocacy. I am still struggling with about $42,000 worth of medical bills, and it seems unfair and unjust." End quote. You know, he goes on this high-speed chase. What it was he was pulled over on the side of a road, and the police pull up behind him, and he just takes off. So they follow him, and they end up using those spike strips to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just went in. Like, he didn't fight him or anything. But he was put in the county jail on suspicion of attempting to elude in a vehicle. A felon. He, you know, had possession of a firearm, homicide, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Pretty much like he's still considered a felon, and he had homicide charges, and he just disregarded all that. Okay, so he was facing 3 different charges in 3 different counties, and they were talking about like consolidating. Like, you can consolidate your debt. He can consolidate his charges.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So I don't know whatever happened to him, because who cares? But but the last we know, he's still in prison because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then the other brother, Kenneth, he actually apologized. He's still in prison too, I guess. But there was never really any, like, question of, did he do it? Should he get a retrial? But he actually apologized to Linda.
Oh, so he owned his part of it.
And Linda said that, I watched this in a Dateline special. She said that he was crying, and, you know, the tears were real. And she said, I wiped his tears, and I forgave him. I'm like, wow, like, why can't we be like you?
I know.
It's
I'd be like,
amazing.
you know what would make us even? Is give me a knife. Hand me a knife.
Who is it that says something about a scar to match your scar?
I don't know, but
Is it the Joker?
probably.
Cut that shit out. That's horrible.
Yeah, let's take back what I said too.
So, you remember this girl that we were talking about? This beautiful girl? This
Yeah.
beautiful, petite little girl?
Yeah.
Well, this beautiful, petite little girl also spoke. She was bilingual. She was pretty fluent in Spanish. Well, Sarah Pierce was arrested. Someone had said that it was her. She was found at a motel, and supposedly she matched the description that was given. Well, guess what? No, she didn't.
No?
No. Sarah was taller. She was more like 5'6". And they keep saying, they bring up the point of the looks. So Sarah, she's beautiful in her own way, okay? She's the way they described this other woman was that she was like girly. Sarah is not, in quotations, girly.
Okay.
And this girl that was at the crime scene that attacked Linda, they believed that one of the guys was her boyfriend.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, and Sarah doesn't date men. So there was just different factors that, like...
Different styles, different
Yes.
sexuality, preferences.
Yes. But, so Sarah, you know, she gets sentenced in, like, 2003. And...
The girl that wasn't her?
Yeah. So, at this point, when Sarah's sentenced, they think that Sarah's the one that did it. There is eyewitnesses that testified that it was her. There was a motel owner that said, yeah, we saw her. Because what it was there was the people, I'm just going to call them the murderers.
Yes.
The murderers went to this hotel to check in, and the girl that was with them, it was a mistaken identity. They thought it was Sarah, but it wasn't. It was this other chick. I don't know, because when you look at them, they don't look anything alike at all.
Do you think that maybe it was just because it was like 2 a.m. or whatever?
I think so, yeah.
And
the other person, too, there was a man that they found out that was at a rest stop area, and they had tried to attack him as well. But he was, before they had attacked Linda, but he was able to get out of there. But he remembers seeing this girl, and at the time, he thought that it was Sarah. So basically, they convicted her on eyewitness testimony. There wasn't really any, evidence. Linda ID'd her on a video lineup, and so did the other 2 eyewitnesses. And so we're going to get a little bit into that, because Sarah, she was served, her sentencing was, they deliberated for 4 hours, and they charged her with aiding and abetting, attempted murder, robbery and first-degree kidnapping, conspiracy to commit those said items as well.
oh my God, can you imagine? You're being sentenced for something you did not do.
And mind you, she's only 17.
Oh my God.
So a year later, she's going into prison. So evidently I didn't write down how much time she got either. But there was a girl, her name is, well, I don't want to say girl, a woman named Jenny Hatch. She studied at Boise State University at the Criminal Justice Department. And she was doing some volunteer work in 2007 for the Idaho Innocence Project. And she came across this case. And she got to looking into it, digging into it, and she was finding all of these different things that just did not add up. You know, like the sketch didn't, nothing added up. So she contacted her boss, and, she's like, can we look into this? Can we see what we can do? So between her and Anita, which is Sarah's mom, they investigated this case. They drove, all over. They tracked down the motel witnesses, the ones that said that, Sarah was there. And their names are Joseph and Steve Rupert. And they ended up, the one guy, so Joseph is the son and Steve is the dad. Joseph was in tears, crying so hard because, it wasn't until later that they realized, oh my gosh, I don't think it was her. And they recanted their testimony.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. But it was almost like that the prosecutor, they didn't want to hear nothing about it.
Yeah, because then that hurts their case because
Right.
it's the wrong person.
Yeah. And then there was rumors or whatever that the prosecutor was being kind of bullying in such a way.
Okay.
But again, all that's hearsay.
Right.
So, like I said, Sarah's mom, Anita, and Jenny, they track down Steve and Joe in Kansas. They get them to sign an affidavit recanting their testimony. They also find Keith Mauer. He was the victim, the potential victim at the rest stop. And he said, I remember thinking, what is this cute little girl? What is she doing with these guys? It just looked out of place. And I don't remember if it was him or if it was Joe or one of the Ruperts. They said, I've been waiting. I knew someone was going to come look for me to ask me questions.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so he had doubts too. And again, he recanted as well, and he signed an affidavit to withdraw or to recant his testimony. So, they kind of started with that, and then with the help of a new, the new DA came on, was elected in, and just different eyes to look at. There wasn't really evidence. It was just kind of circumstantial, but just to look at some facts that were right in front of their face. So what Anita's mother had found too, she found out, that Sarah was home with her mother the night of I'm sorry, not Anita. Anita's the mother, but Jenny, as she's talking to Anita, she finds out that Sarah is home with her mother the night of the attack.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that, a witness had said too, was that Sarah ran around with Sanchez. Sarah didn't even know Sanchez.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah. And it was said that Sarah was lying. What kind of came about was Anita was in a parking lot and someone approached her. I think she was coming out of a jail or something, or she was at the courthouse. Someone approached her and said, go to blah, blah, blah jail and talk to a person named Rivera. Rivera is the family name. And so she goes to this jail or prison or whatever, and she's talking to Mr. Rivera. I don't know what his first name was, but she's talking to him, and he won't, talk to her. She wants to talk to him, hey, someone told me that you have information about my daughter. She's in prison, and she didn't do this. We need to get her out. He wouldn't speak. The next time, she went a second time, and he had told her, he said, bring me pencil or a pen and paper. So she was like, I didn't. She was like, all I did was, she was like, I raised my hand and wrote Erica Terrenal on my hand and just held her hand up, her palm. And he nodded his head, yes. So Erica Terrenal is believed to be that girl, the really pretty girl, the petite girl.
Right.
It was believed to be her. Detective Christie, Wayne Christie, he was the original detective, and he felt like it was her. They gave her a lie detector test, and she passed it.
I don't even know why they still do lie detector
I know.
tests.
And the thing is, too, is that, it was said that they rescored it, and once they rescored it, she actually failed.
How is that messed up the first time? I don't understand.
Isn't most court findings or whatever, they don't accept the lie detector test anyways, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So why would you...
Do people still use it?
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Yeah, so between Anita's work and Jenny Hatch's work, they got these witnesses. They, got this other information that was to be brought to light. And they met up with this Rivera family. And Anita, she remembers being scared. She would go to all these, she described scary places that she would never go.
Yeah.
Just trying to find information, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, because you'll do anything for your daughter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she just, of course she said my daughter didn't do this, but she knew it in her heart that she didn't. Because, I'm sure there's people out there thinking.
Yeah.
Every
But she was legit
that.
with her mom that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a stereotype or wrong place, wrong time kind of thing, because supposedly Sarah had been into drugs. But at the time when this happened, she had kicked drugs and she was doing good. She was in Job Corps, and that's where they arrested her. So, she was trying to do good for herself, and whether or not she was on drugs, again, hearsay.
Right.
But Anita goes to this Rivera family, and they don't want to talk. She says at one point that the mother says to her, it's either my daughter or it's your daughter. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to choose mine. What happened was the night of the attack, the three guys and supposedly or allegedly this Erica girl, they go to the Rivera household. And the reason why they know, the way that Erica knows the Rivera family is that she dated one of the brothers, and she would call the mother mom. Like, they were really close. They go back to the house, and one of the brothers sees blood. They're like, he sees them like washing up, like cleaning up. And then they take the bloody clothes and things to an embankment it's under a bridge by a tree. And, the bank of the Boise River. They bury the clothes and all that. Like, they bury the evidence.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they vow to never speak of that again. So, like, the whole family knows, but they're not talking. Anita and Jenny, they get the resources. They go to this area that they're told where the clothes are buried, and they try to find them.
I would too.
It's a floodplain. They can't find it.
No.
Yes. So, they just continue trying to do what they can do. And then where I talked a little bit about before, the kind of like where they said that the prosecutor was kind of like a bully or whatever. Mm-hmm. Supposedly she pressured this person about, to lie about Sarah running with Sanchez. I don't know the name of the person who it was that said that she, would run around with Sanchez. But supposedly the prosecutor pressured the person to do so, and pressured the Rivera family as well. She said she did not. Why would she have a reason to do so? But she did. The father of the Rivera family, he was on his deathbed. And I think this was like around the year maybe 2014, 2016, something like that. He says, we have to come clean.
Nah.
We need to tell the police everything. The one son does. They let him know what really happened. And so Sarah finally is getting out. And Judge, I'm just going to kind of go back. If I'm probably backtracking here, but just going to read some of the facts here. So Judge Janelle C. Carrick ruled on Thursday to close the case after 35-year-old Pierce spends 231 more days in custody. A different judge had acknowledged problems with the investigation and trial back in 2002 or 2003. Sarah spent 11 years in prison, and then a judge reopened the case in 2014. And that was when, the issues with the eyewitnesses who recanted in the police lineup, kind of suspicion aroused with that. She was resentenced to time served and released from prison. So in 2014, she was released from prison. And then after that, she repeatedly violated her probation. And it was for theft and drug charges. There was police called to an apartment complex one time, and she said, like, they could search her.
Yeah.
And they found syringes in her pocket. And she was like, these aren't my jeans. I don't know how those got there.
Oh my gosh. These aren't my jeans.
Not my jeans. So she returned to prison in 2016, and, she admitted to violating her probation. And there was also a knife that was found in her car or on her person. Technically, she remained Idaho Department of Correction inmate, and she was scheduled for release in December of 2014. But they kind of like, even though you're a part of the state, we're just going to kind of like let the county have you. So the county kind of took over. She was granted a new sentence in 2014. And the judge, what she said to Sarah was, I feel like that you've been institutionalized. And when she was released before, well, that would have been in 2014. Like, when she was released, she was kind of like set up already for failure.
Yeah.
She wasn't prepared to go out into the world. She was 17. She had been in prison for 11 years. That's all she knew. And on top of that, she was being accused of something that she didn't do.
That's horrible. 11 years of your life.
Mm-hmm. She said too, she was like, it's like they're killing me. They're taking my life away from me. And she cried when they gave her that first sentencing, when they convicted her. She's never been technically found innocent, to my knowledge. So,
Dang.
and the judge said too, she was like, if you would have been set up with like a stronger parole, like where, I guess like where they're monitored more, like for drugs and things like that, like a drug program, that she could have been more successful. But so when she was finally released, she was released into an intensive treatment and education program for up to a year. And if it was successful, the judge may allow her to serve the rest of her time out on probation. And this was called a rider program. I mean, the judge kind of had mercy on her.
Yeah.
She was kind of like, if you truly didn't do this crime, then you need to be rehabilitated. No wonder you had a tough time.
Right.
So Linda, she's still battling with PTSD, and it was ordered for all of the those convicted to pay her restitution, $50 a month. I think it was like $50,000. And she said she hadn't seen any of the money.
What?
Yeah. The one guy who had gotten out, I think it was the Kenneth guy. No, John. At one article I had read, it said that he went back into prison because he didn't pay restitution. That Erica Turnell, did she do it? Did she not? We don't know. She was arrested. So Erica Turnell, she had gotten in trouble. Okay, so Erica Curiel, she was in state prison for 4 years. And she was convicted of a drug and a fight with her mother. So she was charged for battery. And that was, I think, around like 2018. So the Dateline special that I had tried to, or that I had watched, they had tried to contact her for comment, but she didn't reach back out. But as far as I know, to this day,
But she was never charged with that?
She was still never charged with it. The case wasn't reopened or whatever. And Linda still believes that it was Sarah. She said, I know it was Sarah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think his name is Keith Morrison, that was interviewing Jenny, the person who works for the Innocence Project. He said, what are your thoughts on that? And she said, I just think that she was so traumatized. And she conveyed how she wants justice for her. It would be so difficult. I mean, the trauma that she went through, and I mean, basically,
so Linda's like, no, it was Sarah the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she still believes that it was Sarah.
Did she see Erica too?
Well, that's what I say about the lineup was so supposedly the way they did the lineup was not the way you should do a lineup. Even though it was a video lineup, it was like they made Sarah the focal point. So that's where everyone's brain went to.
I guess that one guy that apologized didn't say or confirm who the female was with them.
No. I think it was a thing like keep your mouth shut.
I know, you're not supposed to be a snitch. But snitches get stitches, they say.
That's pretty much it.
Wow. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah. That was a lot of people to keep track of, though. Real names.
We need to cut that shit out.
Fake name. Which one? That?
Go back a little bit.
Go back.
Let's make it an ending.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that is the story of Linda LeBrane. Oh, wait. Let me add one more thing. So Linda has a website where she does poetry. Okay, so that is the story of Linda LeBrane. She's doing a lot better these days. I did find a YouTube video where she's reading poetry, it looks like at a bookstore or something like that. And you can find her poetry at Linda LeBrane. It's LeBrane poetry.com. And she's been published in Salt Lake City and Washington State.
Good for her. All right. Good job, Rachel.
I'm talked out.
Yeah. It's been a long night. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Actually, no. Take that back. Rewind.
Do the rewind noise.
I don't know how. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Oh, and happy early Thanksgiving. Dun, dun, dun.
Happy ham
And turkey.
giving.
Bye.
Bye.